The massive alien ship hung in space like a dark metal mountain, its hull bristling with weapons that could turn planets into dust. Inside the ship's council chamber, Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire looked down at the small human figures standing before him. His insect-like eyes gleamed with disgust as he studied the two representatives from Earth. Dr. Kim. Hannah tried to keep her voice steady as she spoke into the translation device. She had trained for this moment her entire life, but nothing had prepared her for the sheer size and hostility of the alien council. 12 different species sat around the curved table, each one looking at the humans like they were annoying insects. "We come from Earth seeking friendship," Hannah said clearly. "Our people want to learn from your advanced civilizations. We offer our knowledge and our friendship in return for peaceful relations." Ambassador Park Jinwoo stood beside her, his diplomatic uniform perfectly pressed despite the long journey from Earth. He had been chosen for this mission because of his calm nature and his ability to stay focused under pressure. Right now, he needed both of those skills. The alien council members whispered among themselves in languages that sounded like grinding metal and hissing steam. Some of them had too many arms, others had scales instead of skin, and a few looked like they were made of living stone. But they all shared the same expression when they looked at the humans: complete contempt. Commander Veltar finally spoke, his voice echoing through the chamber like the sound of breaking glass. "You offer us nothing, we need humans. Your species is new to space travel, you have no advanced technology. You control only one small system. You are nothing but vermin that has learned to fly between stars." Hannah felt her heart sink, but she tried again. "We may be new to space, but we are eager to learn. We have skills in medicine, engineering, and science that might be useful to the consortium. We ask only for the chance to prove ourselves as valuable members of the galactic community." The laughter that filled the chamber was worse than screaming. It was the sound of a dozen different species finding the same joke hilarious. Veltar's mandibles clicked together as he laughed, and the sound made both humans step backward. "Valuable members," Veltar repeated. "You misunderstand your situation completely. The Galactic Consortium does not accept new members. We rule this galaxy. Other species serve us or they are removed." Park Jinwoo finally spoke, his voice carefully controlled. "We are not here to challenge your authority. We simply wish to exist peacefully in our own system. We have no interest in expanding or causing trouble. We just want to be left alone." The chamber fell silent. Several of the council members leaned forward, as if they couldn't believe what they had just heard. Veltar's eyes narrowed to thin slits. "Left alone," he said slowly. "You think you can simply ignore the consortium? You think you can exist in our galaxy without our permission?" His voice grew louder with each word. "Your system contains resources we need. Your species will serve in our mining operations. This is not a request. This is an order." Hannah felt panic rising in her chest. This was going completely wrong. All of Earth's careful planning, all of their hopes for peaceful contact, was crumbling in front of her eyes. "Please," she said desperately. "Our people are not warriors. We are explorers and builders. We can work together. There must be a way to find common ground." Veltar stood up from his chair, his massive form towering over the humans. "The only ground you will find is the ground of the mining worlds where your species will spend the rest of its existence. You have 30 of your Earth days to surrender your entire civilization. If you refuse, we will demonstrate why the consortium has ruled this galaxy for over 1,000 years. The other council members began making sounds of approval, clicking and hissing and growling their agreement. The humans were clearly dismissed, but neither Hannah nor Park moved. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. 30 days, Veltar repeated. "Surrender completely, or we will remove your species from existence. We have done this before. The galaxy is littered with the bones of species that thought they could resist us." Two massive alien guards stepped forward, their weapons humming with energy. The message was clear. The humans needed to leave immediately, or they would never leave at all. As they were escorted back to their small ship, Hannah tried one last time. "This doesn't have to end in violence," she called over her shoulder. "Our people just want to live in peace. We're not a threat to anyone." Veltar's final words followed them down the corridor. "Your species will serve, or your species will die. There are no other options." The human ship departed from the consortium vessel and began its long journey back to Earth. Behind them, the massive alien fleet began to move, positioning itself at the edge of human space like a storm cloud gathering on the horizon. Neither Hannah nor Park spoke during the first hour of their return journey. They both knew they were carrying the worst possible news back to Earth. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had ended with a declaration of war. Captain Nixara stared at her ship's display screen with growing confusion. For 3 weeks now, her advanced sensors had detected nothing from human space. No radio signals, no ship movements, no energy readings from their colonies. It was as if the entire human species had simply vanished overnight. "Run another deep scan of the sector," she ordered her tactical officer. The insectoid alien's claws clicked rapidly across his control panel, but the results remained the same. "Nothing, Captain," he reported. All human patrol routes are empty. Their communication networks are silent. Even their mining operations have stopped producing heat signatures. Nixera had seen many species surrender to the consortium over her long military career. Some fought desperately until the end. Others tried to negotiate, but she had never seen an entire civilization simply disappear without a trace. Perhaps they fled to the outer systems, suggested her communications officer. Many primitive species attempt to hide when they realize they cannot win. On Earth, Dr. Song Minjae had not slept properly in 18 days. The converted factory beneath Seoul hummed with constant activity as machines that once built smartphones now produced quantum processors for military systems. The silence that confused the aliens was actually the sound of humanity preparing for the fight of their lives. Production rate is now at 400% of normal capacity, reported engineer Nam Haizin, checking readings on her tablet. Every civilian factory on the planet has been converted to military production. We're making weapons, sensors, and ship components faster than we ever made consumer goods. Above ground, the streets of Seoul looked almost normal during the day. People went to work, children attended school, and life continued as if nothing had changed. But underground, in converted subway tunnels and basement facilities, the largest military buildup in human history was taking place. Admiral Kang Ji-hoon studied tactical displays in a command center. Buried 3 kilometers beneath the Korean mountains, the room buzzed with quiet activity as hundreds of officers coordinated humanity's response to the consortium threat. Unlike the aliens, humans had learned long ago that the best plans were made in silence. Status report on Project Swarm, he requested from Colonel Yoon Seojin, who stood at the main tactical table. 22 billion units completed and deployed throughout the system, Seojin replied. Each drone is smaller than a coffee cup but carries enough firepower to destroy a building. The consortium's sensors are designed to detect large ships, not microscopic weapons. The human strategy was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of building massive warships to match the consortium's fleet, humanity had chosen to fight with intelligence and innovation. Dr. Beek's research team had spent years studying captured alien technology from border encounters, looking for weaknesses that could be exploited. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, she explained to a room full of military planners. Plasma cannons, particle beams, laser arrays, but they have never encountered kinetic weapons traveling at extreme speeds, or devices that can manipulate the basic forces of physics. In workshops across Earth, teams of engineers worked on weapons that broke every rule of conventional space warfare. They built devices that could collapse hyperspace lanes, turning faster than light, travel into death traps. They created gravity bombs that could crush enemy ships like tin cans. They developed quantum tunneling warheads that could appear inside enemy vessels, bypassing shields entirely. Captain Im Naeon oversaw the construction of humanity's new fleet at the Luna shipyards, hidden on the far side of Earth's moon. But these were not the massive battleships that the consortium expected. Instead, humans had built millions of small, intelligent craft that could think and act as a single unit. Each ship is expendable, she explained to her engineering staff, but together they form the most advanced military network ever created. They can coordinate attacks, share information instantly, and adapt to changing battle conditions faster than any alien commander can react. Meanwhile, consortium scouts continued to patrol the edges of human space, reporting the same thing to their commanders. Complete silence. The alien military leadership was pleased with what they saw as an easy victory. The humans have clearly realized they cannot resist us, Commander Veltar told his fellow council members. They have withdrawn to their homeworld to prepare their surrender. This campaign will be concluded without significant losses to our forces. But deep in human space, Dr. Lim Dae-ho was putting the finishing touches on humanity's most terrifying weapon. Hidden within the core of Luna, his team had built a device that could turn stars themselves into weapons. The Starkiller Array is operational, he reported through quantum communication systems that the consortium could neither detect nor jam. We can trigger solar flares in any system within 100 light-years. If they want to threaten Earth, they will learn what it means to weaponize the power of a sun. As the consortium's deadline approached, their advanced scouts detected no change in human space. No massive fleet preparations, no frantic communication bursts, no signs of military buildup. The aliens interpreted this as confirmation of humanity's surrender. They could not have been more wrong. The silence was not fear. The silence was not surrender. The silence was the sound of a predator species preparing to remind the galaxy why they had survived every extinction event their homeworld had thrown at them. The consortium had demanded an answer from humanity. Soon, they would receive one. Deep beneath the surface of Luna, Dr. Lim Dae-ho stood before a machine that could end civilizations. The device filled an entire cavern, its crystalline core pulsing with energy that bent light around its edges. After 2 years of secret construction, the Starkiller Array was finally complete. Run the final test sequence, he instructed his team of engineers. The machine hummed to life, its sensors reaching across space to touch distant stars. With this weapon, humanity could turn any sun into a directed explosion, creating solar flares that would sterilize entire solar systems. All systems are operational, reported Dr. Anjiun, checking readings on her control panel. We can target any star within 100 light-years. The energy burst will arrive at enemy positions in exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds after firing. On Mars, Colonel Han Minji watched as the final wave of microscopic surveillance drones launched from hidden facilities across the red planet's surface. These tiny machines, each no bigger than a speck of dust, had been traveling throughout consortium space for 3 years, carried by routine diplomatic ships and trade vessels. Complete coverage achieved, she reported to Admiral Kong through the quantum communication network. We now have real-time intelligence on every major consortium world, military base, and fleet position. They have no idea we've been watching them. The drones were humanity's greatest intelligence victory. While the aliens had dismissed human diplomats as primitive and harmless, those same diplomats had been seeding enemy territory with billions of tiny sensors. Now humanity could see every consortium ship movement, every troop deployment, every strategic decision being made in their war rooms. But Professor Cha Wujin had solved the problem that had kept human military planners awake for months: how to defeat the consortium's advanced shield technology. The answer came not from matching their power, but from bypassing it entirely. Quantum tunneling warheads, he explained to the assembled weapons designers in his underground laboratory. The explosive payload materializes inside the enemy ship, inside their shields, inside their armor. There is no defense against a weapon that ignores physical barriers. His team had built thousands of these impossible weapons, each one capable of appearing anywhere within a 50-kilometer radius of its launch point. Consortium shields that could stop planet-destroying energy beams would be useless against explosives that simply appeared inside their ships. Captain Shin Wanho commanded the strangest fleet in human history from his flagship hidden in the asteroid belt. Around him, millions of small craft moved in perfect coordination, each one controlled by artificial intelligence that could think faster than any biological brain. Fleet status report, he requested from his tactical officer. All units operational and deployed, came the reply. 47 million attack drones, 12 million electronic warfare platforms, 8 million reconnaissance units, and 2 million command ships. Every unit is connected through quantum entanglement communication. The consortium has never faced distributed warfare on this scale. Each drone was individually weak, barely armed enough to damage a small fighter craft. But together, they formed a military network that could overwhelm any traditional fleet through sheer numbers and perfect coordination. Like a swarm of angry bees, they would attack from every direction at once. Engineer Namhai Jin supervised the conversion of Earth's largest cities into weapons manufacturing centers. What had once been shopping centers and office buildings now churned out military equipment 24 hours a day. The planet's entire industrial capacity had been secretly transformed over the past 2 years. Production numbers are exceeding all projections, she reported to the Planetary Defense Council. We're manufacturing more weapons per day than most civilizations produce in a year. Every human colony is contributing to the war effort. The transformation had been so complete that alien scouts studying human worlds from a distance saw only normal civilian activity. They had no idea that behind every factory window, weapons were being assembled by machines that could work without rest. Dr. Beek, Soyang's physics team had weaponized the fundamental forces of the universe in ways that violated every treaty of galactic warfare. Their gravity bombs could collapse matter into microscopic black holes. Their space-time disruptors could tear holes in reality itself. Their quantum cascade weapons could make entire fleets simply cease to exist. The aliens fight with energy and matter, she explained to Admiral Kong during a secure briefing. We fight with the laws of physics themselves. They cannot shield against weapons that rewrite the rules of space and time. On the outer rim of the solar system, Captain Ko Hunjin's engineering corps had turned entire asteroid fields into kinetic weapons. Using massive electromagnetic launchers, they could accelerate mountain-sized rocks to significant fractions of light speed. When these projectiles hit enemy ships, no shield technology in the galaxy could stop them. Ammunition supply is unlimited, she reported. The asteroid belt contains enough material to bombard every consortium world for the next 1,000 years. We've turned our entire solar system into a weapons platform. As the consortium's deadline approached, their scouts continued to report empty space and silence from human territory. The alien commanders were confident that humanity had accepted defeat without a fight. They had no idea that behind the silence, an entire species had transformed itself into the most dangerous military force the galaxy had ever seen. The humans were not hiding in fear. They were waiting in perfect patience for their enemies to come within striking distance. The galaxy was about to learn why humanity had survived as apex predators on a world full of monsters. Fleet Commander Zexdale felt confident as his massive invasion force entered human space. 500 of the consortium's most powerful warships moved in perfect formation, their shields glowing with energy that could stop any known weapon. Behind them, transport vessels carried enough troops to occupy every human world. Begin scanning for enemy positions, he ordered his tactical officer. The alien's multiple eyes studied the sensor displays, searching for signs of human military forces. But the screens showed only empty space and distant stars. No enemy contacts detected. Commander, the officer reported, their entire fleet appears to have withdrawn to their inner system. Perhaps they are making a final stand around their homeworld. Zexdal smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. This would be easier than expected. His intelligence reports had described humans as a young species with primitive technology. Clearly, they had realized they could not fight the mighty consortium and were preparing to surrender. Then the first ship disappeared. The heavy cruiser Dominator simply vanished from the fleet formation without any warning. One moment, it was there, its hull gleaming in the starlight. The next moment, there was only empty space and a brief flash of radiation. What happened to the Dominator? Zexdal demanded, rising from his command chair. Unknown, sir, his tactical officer replied, panic creeping into his voice. No energy weapons detected, no missile launches, no enemy ships in the area. It just, stopped existing. Before Zexdal could respond, 3 more ships vanished in quick succession. Each one disappeared the same way. There 1 second, gone. The next, leaving only confused radio chatter from the remaining vessels. Captain Shin Wanho watched the alien fleet's confusion from his hidden command ship deep in the asteroid belt. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of every consortium vessel. Tracked by humanity's invisible surveillance network, begin Phase 2, he ordered calmly. His words were transmitted instantly through quantum communication to millions of human weapons platforms scattered throughout the solar system. Space itself turned against the invaders. Artificial gravity wells materialized without warning, crushing alien ships like insects. Hyperspace disruption fields activated, trapping vessels that tried to escape back to normal space. The very fabric of reality had become humanity's weapon. Impossible, Zexdal screamed as half his fleet was destroyed in less than 10 minutes. Our shields can stop any attack. Our sensors can detect any enemy. His remaining ships fired their weapons wildly into empty space, trying to hit enemies they could not see. Plasma cannons that could melt planets discharged uselessly into the void. Particle beams that could shatter moons found no targets. Lieutenant Park Yoonji piloted her interceptor through the chaos, her small craft invisible to alien sensors. Around her, thousands of other human pilots moved in perfect coordination, their artificial intelligence systems sharing information faster than thought. Target the command ship, she transmitted to her squadron. The words were unnecessary. Her fellow pilots had already identified the same objective through their shared tactical network. The consortium flagship, a dreadnought the size of a small city, became the focus of humanity's fury. Millions of microscopic projectiles tunneled through its shields using quantum physics, appearing inside the ship's hull and detonating simultaneously throughout its structure. The explosion lit up the entire solar system. Zexdal died without understanding how his invincible fleet had been destroyed by enemies he never saw. On Earth, Dr. Rujayan monitored the battle through quantum-linked sensors embedded in each human weapon. His screens showed the complete destruction of the first consortium invasion force in real enemy fleet eliminated. He reported to Admiral Kang. Total engagement time, 14 minutes. Human casualties, 0. The second consortium fleet arrived 3 days later with double the firepower and full battle preparations. They found only debris and radiation signatures where their predecessors had died. Commander Veltar himself led this force, determined to crush the humans through overwhelming power. Maintain maximum shield strength, he ordered his captains. Deploy all sensor arrays. These humans must have some kind of stealth technology. But humans had not used stealth technology. They had used something far more dangerous. They had weaponized the laws of physics themselves. Colonel Oh Sungmin's asteroid belt installations came online as the second alien fleet entered the inner system. Electromagnetic launchers the size of skyscrapers hurled mountain-sized rocks at significant fractions of light speed. No shield in the galaxy could withstand such kinetic impacts. The first asteroid struck Veltar's flagship at 12% of light speed. The impact released more energy than a nuclear weapon, punching completely through the ship's shields and armor as if they were made of paper. The commander died instantly, vaporized along with his entire bridge crew. This cannot be happening, transmitted a surviving consortium captain as his ship was torn apart by debris traveling faster than bullets. They are a primitive species. Their technology is inferior to ours. Captain Ko Hunjin's response was broadcast across all enemy frequencies. We are the species that survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, and planetary disasters that would have ended most civilizations. Did you really think your technology would save you from us? The second fleet died even faster than the first. This time, the engagement lasted only 8 minutes. When the third consortium fleet arrived with recording equipment to document humanity's weapons, they documented their own annihilation instead. The alien survivors who managed to escape carried news that terrified the entire consortium. Humanity did not fight like any known species. They had turned war itself into a science. 6 months after the war began, General Moon Jisoo stood on the bridge of her command ship, watching the last consortium stronghold surrender. The massive alien fortress that had once controlled trade routes across 50 star systems now floated dark and lifeless in space, its weapons permanently disabled by human technology. Final casualty report. She requested from her aide Lieutenant Kim Swang-ho. Human military losses remain at 0%. General, he reported, checking his data pad. Enemy casualties are complete across all sectors. The consortium military no longer exists as a fighting force. It had not been a war in any traditional sense. The consortium had expected ship-to-ship battles, ground invasions, and heroic last stands. Instead, they had faced something far more terrifying: the systematic dismantling of their entire civilization by an enemy that refused to fight by galactic rules. Dr. Ann Gillen led the science teams that now studied the ruins of consortium technology across dozens of worlds. Her job was to ensure that the mistakes that had led to this war could never happen again. Their fundamental error was believing that advanced technology automatically meant superior tactics. She explained to the post-war analysis committee, they had ruled the galaxy for so long that they forgot the most basic lesson of survival. Adaptability matters more than raw power. The consortium had built their empire on the idea that bigger weapons and stronger shields would always defeat smaller, weaker opponents. They had never encountered a species that could turn their own advantages against them. On the former consortium capital world, Captain Nam Hai-jin supervised the installation of human monitoring stations. These automated platforms would watch over the surviving alien populations, ensuring that no new empire could rise to threaten peaceful species. The monitoring network is complete, she reported to Earth Command. Every former consortium world now has human sensors in orbit. We will know immediately if anyone tries to rebuild their military forces. The survivors of the alien empire sent desperate messages to Earth, begging for mercy and promising never to threaten humanity again. Their pleas were answered by Admiral Kang Ji-hoon himself. His image broadcast to every remaining consortium world. His voice was calm and steady as he spoke to the aliens who had once demanded humanity's surrender. You came to our system demanding our immediate submission, he began. You executed our diplomats without trial or negotiation. You threatened to eliminate our entire species if we did not become your slaves. You believed that superior technology would guarantee your victory over us. The Admiral paused, letting his words translate into dozens of alien languages across the former empire. You made one critical mistake in your calculations. You forgot that humans are the species that survived by becoming the most dangerous predators. On a planet full of apex predators, we did not reach the top of our food chain through advanced technology. We reached it through intelligence, adaptability, and the will to do whatever was necessary to survive. On Earth, children in schools learned about the Consortium War as part of their history lessons. Teacher Park Mingi explained the conflict to her young students using simple words they could understand. The aliens thought they were stronger than us because they had bigger ships and more powerful weapons, she told the class. But they did not understand that humans became the rulers of Earth, not because we were the biggest or strongest creatures, but because we were the smartest and most adaptable. One student raised her hand. Why did the war end so quickly, teacher? Park, because the aliens were used to fighting enemies who thought like them. Park, Mingi replied. They expected other species to build big fleets and fight traditional battles. But humans had learned something different from our history on Earth. Sometimes the best way to defeat a predator is to become a more dangerous predator. The final consortium monument was quietly dismantled on a Tuesday morning by human engineering crews. No ceremonies marked its removal. No speeches were given. The thousand-year empire that had ruled the galaxy simply became a footnote in history books. Dr. Song Min-jae, now director of the Galactic Monitoring Project, established protocols. To prevent future conflicts between species, her teams worked with peaceful alien civilizations to create communication networks and dispute resolution systems. The goal is not to become the new rulers of the galaxy, she explained to the United Earth Council. The goal is to make sure that no species ever again faces the choice between slavery and extinction. Other alien civilizations that had survived the consortium's rule sent ambassadors to Earth, hoping to establish peaceful relations with humanity. They approached very carefully, having learned from the consortium's fatal mistake. Ambassador Yu Seojin met with these new alien visitors in Earth's orbital diplomatic station. The conversations were very different from humanity's first contact with the consortium. "We seek friendship and mutual cooperation," the alien representatives would say. "We have no desire for conflict with your people." Good Yun Seojin would reply simply, "Peaceful coexistence is humanity's preferred state. War is what happens when that preference is ignored." In the outer reaches of former consortium space, human patrol ships continued their quiet work, ensuring that the galaxy remained peaceful. The crews of these vessels carried a simple message for anyone who might consider following the consortium's example. Humanity had given the galaxy its reply to the threat of enslavement and extinction. The message was clear: leave peaceful species alone, or learn why humans had survived every challenge their dangerous homeworld had thrown at them. The galaxy was a much quieter place now.